Hey there, fools. Big T here, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about something that affects pretty much every gamer, and that is gaming reviews. Well, not every gamer, but a lot of gamers, because I've noticed that, at least as of late, a lot of gamers tend to, if they don't exactly go by what review scores are saying, they tend to at least talk about them and many times give them merit. Not that they shouldn't be given merit, but I just want to talk about how I feel about it and why I feel about the people using it as a gauge might be not the best thing to do when it comes to deciding on what games to play. Now, a lot of us as gamers, we kind of have an idea of what games, we are kind of drawn to, what types of games we like to play. We know that, especially after being a gamer for many years. I'd say around the 10-year mark, you probably know what types of games you like to play and what you're into doing. And so you kind of have an idea of that. And with the introduction of YouTube and whatnot, we get used to people doing reviews on games and talking about them from their perspectives, and we get attached to certain types of YouTubers, certain reviewers, because we feel like they have similar interests to our own, and so we kind of take merit or give merit to their perspective on an up and coming game, maybe a game that we're looking forward to, or maybe a game that we aren't very familiar with, and just because that reviewer says so, we might decide to buy it. And I think that's how it should be more often than not. I think if there's certain games out there that maybe you're not in tune to playing that much, if a reviewer that you're used to, that you give credence to, that you that you kind of follow and believe their opinions on something that they align with your own, I think that's when you should give them more attention or more validation as far as their review on something. I don't think if it's a game series or something like that, or a genre that you're used to and you've been kind of watching the game and it seems like it's something that you'd want to play, I wouldn't go back on at least giving it a try based on a reviewer's score or something like that. Obviously Metacritic is a big thing now, and so is stuff like Rotten Tomatoes for movies. And I understand, the need to, especially in this society, to want to have a quick answer to something, to decide if you're going to do something, because people are very busy these days. We don't have a lot of time to waste, and we certainly don't have money to waste on games or movies and stuff like that. So I understand the need to, or at least the inclination to gravitate to media outlets that review stuff like that and kind of give you an aggregate score, and sometimes that may give you a decision on whether you watch something or not. But there are movies that are very terribly rated that I love to watch. I often talk about Freddy Got Fingered. It's really poorly rated on Metacritic, or not Metacritic, but maybe even Metacritic, but certainly Rotten Tomatoes has a low score, because I feel like sometimes a movie will come out, or a game will come out, that the reviewer themselves don't get. And I feel like, especially when it comes to Freddy Got Fingered, you can look at it and just say, oh, it's a gross out comedy. But I think it's way smarter than that. I think Tom Green, for one, never really wanted to do a movie, but because he got so popular, he was kind of pushed into it, and he just did whatever. He did something to try to annoy at some points the audience, or not so much the audience, but the people that were pushing him to make the movie, the producers and whatnot. He just pushed boundaries, and I think he was very conscious of what's supposed to work and what not supposed to work. And he just, I think it's a way smarter film than it gets credit for as far as what it's trying to do. And so I feel like films like that, like Pink Flamingos, it's probably poorly rated as well. It's a crazy shock value type of film, but there's a lot of stuff you can get out of it. And I feel like it's the same with video games. Now, some video games they're on the nose as far as what they're able to do and what they're trying to do. But some video games just, they didn't have the money or whatever, and they turned out poorly because of it. But you can still have a lot of fun with a game like that. I don't think you should turn the game off like that, because a game like Devil's Third, I feel like, that game is, quote unquote a bad game, but I have a lot of fun with that game. I often talk about oh my gosh, what's the Blue Soldiers game? I can't think of the name of it right now, but you'll see it pop up on the screen. Oh yeah, Rogue. What is it? Rogue something. This game, is not very good, but it has beautiful jank, as I like to call it. It's so janky that it's fun and funny, and I have a blast. I literally have a blast playing that game, and you would miss out on that if you just follow the review scores. Terminator 2 for Super Nintendo was one of my favorites. It's not a good game, but I got a lot out of it. I really like that game. So I just feel like I understand the need, or the inclination, not so much the need, but the inclination to just kind of dismiss games when there's so many games out there. First of all, it's like, oh, I don't have time to waste on trash that's, below an 8, which is kind of ridiculous, because you're missing out on some pretty good games if you look at it that way. But a lot of people do. They like, if a game doesn't get an 8.5, they don't want to touch it, and it's a shame. Now, again, I understand the inclination. You got tons of stuff to play. You don't want to waste your time, but I don't feel like you'll be wasting your time. I feel like you'll be missing out on stuff if you approach games from an aggregate score or aggregate review score. It's just, I don't think that's the way to game, man. I think you're just going to be missing out on a ton of fun stuff. Daemon X Machina, I'm having a blast playing that game. And, it's got low 7s, I think 7.3 or something like that on Metacritic. And, some people just look at the average or whatever. But, if you're into mech games, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. So, I don't like that people look at review scores and decide on it, because it really annoys me when I see, especially when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, when I see a trailer or a ad, 30-second ad, 15-second ad, or whatever, boasts its Rotten Tomatoes score, which is very subjective, because we know that a lot of those scores politically can get fudged. I think the latest Ghostbusters movie, Ghostbusters 2016, has a pretty high Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes score, but the movie is not good. It's not very good at all. I think that the review scores are politically motivated. I feel like a lot of reviewers were afraid to dock the movie because of the political slant, or not slant, but the political atmosphere around it. I'm not going to get into it. You guys know. Most of you guys know what it's about. So that can happen with video games too. You have Kojima. Everybody is expecting greatness. At least the Kojima-ites, the fanatics, are expecting the game to be Game of the Year greatness. And I feel like a lot of reviewers are going to feel pressure to give it a good score because they don't want to incur the wrath of the fanatics. And that happens. And, I hate to see people make a decision based on a review that's bogus for good, like that it's a good review when the game is not good, or a review for a game that is bad, technically is bad, and I mean technically, like it has frame rate issues or whatever, but it's still fun. I just hate to see people miss out on video games based on something, to me, that's that minuscule, that doesn't matter all that much. So yeah, that's my take. So you take the critiques of games seriously when it comes to Metacritic, or your favorite reviewer, or some website or something like that, or do you decide yourself what a good game is? And it may be a bad game, but it may be good for you. It may be good to you. I gave you examples. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you again for watching and listening, and I'll see you fools next time. Peace out.